Hello class. The purpose of this video is to kind of walk through the personal financial plan module. There's a couple things involved with this. Number one is there is a personal financial planning concepts, which was kind of put together by a financial advising firm with us just for the sake of instruction, but because I'm not a professional financial advisor, I can't really provide advice on that. But just so you are aware, we have information within there that is really helpful if you have not done any kind of financial planning before, or really gone through a budget and set up. So this is how it looks. You guys have full access to it, and take a look through. So it talks about the four cornerstones of financial planning. It goes into different resources that are available that you recommend to use, and then how personal planning kind of works. So I'll leave all of this up to you just so you can kind of look through it. I'd be happy to have any kind of chat about it in the future if you look through and have any questions or need other resources. There's other things to provide as well. I just want to make sure that you have the basic information on it and you can look through this, because this is what's going to help you with your second assignment for this semester, which is your only other assignment, and it's an individual one where we're going to look through your personal financial plan. So that financial plan looks something like this. Basically what you're doing, and the whole point of this is to help you as an individual. It's really, it's going to be graded just for the sense, for the sake of grading things, but it's more for you just to make sure that you plan out your future and family's future and wherever you are. Now, some of you may have done this 10 years ago, 20 years ago, are currently doing it, and that's great. That's exactly what we're hoping for. We just want to make sure that our students are set up for success, so that if you have not done this before, it'd be worthwhile setting this up. So this is a really important to help make sure that we want our students to be set up for success, so that they are not just set up with good jobs, but know how to manage their finances, know how to manage planning, so that they have good, quality family lives and can hit some of these goals that they might have within your future careers. So that's what we're doing here. It's not, like I said, it's not going to be like heavily scrutinized, more so just providing comments and feedback on other things to consider, because if you haven't done it before, there might be a lot of aha moments. If you have done it before, maybe hopefully you get some good pointers out of that, PowerPoint or any of the other information that we provide for resources, albeit it's not that much stuff. I just want to make sure that you're set up on the right track. So what you're going to be doing is setting up a personal budget spreadsheet, and I'll show you a template here in a moment. But if you already know what your salary is, or you have a goal of for what job your degree might help get you, that's what we want to start setting up in the spreadsheet itself. Is how much income do I plan to have for either me or my spouse, or any other additional income that might be. Track that against any of your monthly personal expenses, and then just see where we land and make some modifications from there. So you're gonna have to set that up. Along with it is just a quick narrative. I said 2 pages max, but it's really just to show that instead of just copying and pasting year one into a 5-year plan and just doing the same thing and marking up 2% every year for inflation, which doesn't really set you up for success necessarily, because things change. You have mortgages that maybe you're paying off a mortgage, maybe you're getting a new mortgage, maybe vehicle costs are going away, maybe loans are going away, or you have additional medical expenses, right? I want you to be able to plan ahead for things. So the narrative is really just to show a quick explanation of what is being modified and kind of why, but I don't want you to go into too much depth. I don't want it to be daunting. I just want to kind of highlighting those points just to show that you're putting in some thought to make sure that you're achieving goals and you're setting yourself up for success in the future. Part 3 is a goal setting analysis. It's pretty heavily researched that if you actually physically write down your goals and you start managing ways to achieve them, they become a lot more likely that you get there. So I want you to try to figure out what are some of these goals, like maybe retirement, maybe travel, maybe buying a boat or doing whatever that might be. If you have those goals, what is your plan to get there, and how is your 5-year plan or anything else set yourself up for that success? And then once you're completed with everything, part 4 is a financial plan summary. Just basically writing out, what is the importance of the assignment? What'd you get out of it? I don't want anything more than a page. Really just covering the big picture. Why is this plan important? What did you learn? And what are the major takeaways that you had from it? So the submission instructions, you'll have to have a title page, a table of contents, the financial plan summary, which is your part 4. That's actually the first thing on there. Then we'll have the written narrative of the budget, the personal budget spreadsheet, and then a personal goals analysis in those orders. So I made them in this order because you kind of have to start with the budget spreadsheet to figure it out, get everything laid out. Then you'll figure out your narrative for the 5-year plan. Then we can figure out the goals analysis. Then you summarize it. But in the submission process, for the fluidity of reading it, it works out better to submit it this way. And then as the other thing to mention too is make sure to save your files into one combined PDF to submit, but then also have an Excel version of just your budget spreadsheet. So you're going to be submitting a PDF of everything together, which is all of this, and then an Excel version of just your personal budget spreadsheet. And then your grading is really just based on putting effort in. As a senior level capstone class, this is part of the requirements that we want to make sure all of our students go through, just so that they are well set up. And so because of that, it's more of, if you put effort in, it's going to help you out in the long run. If you don't put effort in, it's not going to help you out in the long run, but maybe you'll come back to it later. So it's more up to you how you want to do it, but so the points are mostly based on a effort and how much work you put into it. Okay, just quickly, I'm going to go through. This is the blank personal spreadsheet. It looks like this. You do not have to use this. This is just a template for you. Has all the information though. So if you type in your gross monthly income, you can make this annual income. You can do this whatever you want, obviously, because you're going to have year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. But it could just, I always do mine based on monthly income because it's easier to combine that. So all these numbers are going to change over the course of the year. But if you get paid, say, I don't know, like $5,000, each month, right? Then you have your federal taxes taken out. You can set up calculations in there if you'd like, or just actually put in deductions. So I don't know, we'll say $450 and $200 and maybe no local. There's a retirement contribution that comes out of that. Maybe that's a 401k, right? Maybe that's $150 or something like that. And then health insurance, just whatever numbers come up. You're going to have this all populated over here for your total projected income. If you have a spouse or a second income that's coming in, you can do the same thing there. And then if you have any other income that's coming in throughout the course of the month, you can plop that in too. So maybe you get some vacation rental stuff or whatever. That's $1,000 a month. It's all going to populate, and it's going to calculate your total income then, total projected income against your total projected costs, which is going to come down through all of these items. So if we have our monthly mortgage, which is $1,200, and then property tax, if that's separate or if it's escrowed, I mean, you can modify this however you want, but I make sure that we have numbers, on how many months. So make sure that's all tracking across appropriately. At the end of the day, whatever we end up here with, we can copy and paste that over to our year 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. But what you want to do is make sure that you're accounting for different things, right? So once you get into I mentioned we have, personal loans or student loans or something like that. Maybe in the first couple of years you have student loans, and then after that those are paid off. So now we can adjust how your budget is. So getting things set up and in for the first time, if you've never done it before, it might take a little while to figure out all these things. You can add lines, subtract lines, whatever that might be. And then the goal is to get you guys to think a little bit more in depth of how do I achieve some of my goals then by modifying my budget and actually tracking against that budget. So I would recommend utilizing, if it's not this form, right, you can use whatever form you want, but having some sort of structured spreadsheet to make sure that you are tracking these things and actually utilizing them. The way that I would do it too is also not just having the projected cost, but also having columns in there where it is your budgeted cost versus your actual, so you can kind of see. And if you haven't done that before, you're going to start seeing that you probably spend money in places that you didn't really realize if you haven't been tracking that closely. So that's pretty much it for this. Right, so you're going to go through that on your own. You're going to, once you're done with your 5-year spreadsheet, you'll go through and summarize it, write your narrative, do your overall goals analysis and everything, and then you're going to submit to this portal, and it's not due until early April. So there's a couple additional things here too. I'll make sure. Here's another one for with an actual category as well that you, if you want to use that for personal use. There's tax information in this folder. There's a couple budget examples in this folder. So different things you can go through to help with that. And like I said, take a look at this financial planning concepts PowerPoint. There's a lot of good input in there, a lot of good pointers. And if you have any questions on it or want to discuss it further, I'd be happy to set up a time. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions.